All right, so in this next step, what we want to do is identify the bad frames and do something about them. Before I do anything, I want to store this animation, store animation to disk. And so I have a placeholder here that's a copy of it. I don't need this original anymore that I had stored earlier. Here is a copy that I can play, that I can easily restore. If I just click this, it allows me to restore it. So if I mess this up, if I do anything here like painting on it, making selections and creating garbage, I can simply restore it right here. Click it, and that restores it. That also clears the alpha channel, I mean the selection mask, no, not that, the swap buffer, there you go, the swap image, right? So keep that in mind. The backside of your canvas gets erased if you store a new animation sequence. All right, so let's take a look at what we need to fix here, right? If we play this, we notice that there is flickering occasionally. There's even stuttering. It seems to hold. It seems to freeze at one point. Oh, right there. I don't know if you noticed that. So let's first take the easy one. This one here is one frame. Now, was that an extra frame or simply a bad frame? We don't know. Maybe there was a lightning strike and it just blurred the camera to smithereens and we need to get rid of it. Well, luckily you can replace this easily if you take a look at the frame before and the frame after. They're almost the same, but of course there's movement. And what we have, as you may know, is we have a couple of filters here called, in the animated category, there's a filter called motion prediction module that's doing an interpolation by predicting where things move. Little blotches of pixels, groups of pixels, which way are they going? And we can use that. It's integrated right here. You can right click on this frame. This is the frame editing menu. And so right here, you can say something like, extrapolate this frame. It's really kind of intrapolate, actually, I think, because it's looking at the frame before and the frame after, and then trying to calculate a good frame, a smart frame in between that is not that far, but also not this far, right? So somewhere between the two. It's not just doing a blend; it's doing a motion estimated interpolation. So that will look really good in terms of having a bit of both. Because if you do a blend, you'll see a ghosting on that one frame. You'll see both images halfway, 50% or something like that. So instead, right click and do extrapolate this frame and we're done. So this one here, you can see is moving and there's barely any blur visible. There's a little bit at times and sometimes some artifacts, but when this thing moves at 24 frames a second, I challenge you to tell me where that bad frame is. All right, so let's see what else. There was something else. All right, can we see? It's difficult to see as we scrub through that, but there's a couple of, there it is. There's a couple of frames that are actually identical. See this? 3 or 4. There, this one moves, and now it doesn't move. 2, 3, 4. There's a couple of duplicates, right? So that calls for fixing it not just one frame at a time. What you want to do is set the whole range. So you need to find out which one is the beginning one of the bad sequence. Let's say this one moves, this one is not moving. So you could set the in marker right here. This is the little curly brace here. And then you can go and see where does it end, like this. This one is still bad, and this one changed. So we can set this one as the out marker. So we have now an in and an out. And by the way, you can do that faster. If you know which frames it is, right, from here to here, you could do something like with the select. You could say select these or select these, right? There, select something like this. And I don't know if that's the ones. I may have gone too far now. So this one here, yes. This one, boom. These are the ones. So this frame, I have 4 frames that are identical. This one is different, and this one is different. So, but these 4 frames are identical. I want to get rid of those, right? I want to fix them. So again, it's a motion estimated interpolation between this frame and this frame. And hopefully they're not too far apart and there's not too many topology changes in that picture that it actually figures out something pretty usable. Let's right click and extrapolate the block. So that takes a little bit longer. It's working on 4 frames, but now you have an interpolation that's not too shabby, and it's not going to look like it's stuttering or holding it for a fraction of a second. It just keeps going. All right, so there are a few other errors in this video, and they are easier to find. You get this one. Well, what do we do with that? Well, we know that it's the same thing, right? We go select, 2 frames. These 2 are your selected block. Right click and extrapolate block, and voila. And then there's one more over here, and that's just a single one. Right. So now that one actually will bring me to another topic, but not for today. Today, right now, we'll say extrapolate this frame, and we got a good usable video again. So let's play it and see if we notice anything odd. Of course, at the very end of the animation, it kind of stops and jumps back to the beginning. There is something still, something else still. It seems like to do a double jump. Boom, boom, right there. So we need to figure out where that comes from. Yeah, somewhere here. See that? Okay, so let's see where that is. Let's see where my current frame is. Yeah, so we may have a frame that was held hostage and then it jumps forward or something like that. What you want, yeah, this one here. So this one here moves normal, 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 and then boom, there's a fairly big jump. There's probably a frame that got lost. We need to insert one, right? So because it looks like it's moving in steady elements, you can see the distance movement of the clouds, and then after that tricky one, it continues normal too. But right there's a bigger jump. That seems like there is a frame between this frame and the next one. Maybe a frame got lost, right? And so when that happens, you need to insert one. So let's go do that. And then we interpolate that new one as an interpolation of this one. And this one will have moved to the right. So we'll go and insert in front of this one. Insert before. What do we insert there? It doesn't really matter. We'll replace it anyway, but we might as well just maybe take this one or this one and insert it. So we can say copy this frame and right click again and insert before the current frame. So now we have, oh, it does a little jump here, but we are still on that frame we just inserted. So we now have 2 frames that are identical. This one was already there and it's still good. It's moving at normal speed. This one is bad. It's a copy we just created, but we want to have it become an interpolated, again, motion estimated interpolated version between this frame and this frame, right? This frame and this frame. So what we do is we select, we right click this one and say extrapolate this frame. Right? So now it's moving not quite that fast. Now, so depending on which frame you right clicked and interpolated here, you might still see a little bit of tearing or a little bit of jumping, but you get the idea. This is what you can do if you have that kind of situation where there's a frame that went missing and something moved too fast and you need to actually insert additional frames. We are now back to, what was it? What was the frame count I had initially? 121. Oh, maybe I deleted one also. So anyway, let's, oh no, it goes from 0, I think. The first one, yeah, first one is frame 0, once it's in Howler, and 121. So we now have a total of 122. So we did that additional frame. And so I'm not saying we're done, right? It may be that we still have maybe another place or right next to it, yet there's still a jump. So let's see, here's the beginning, and then there is a little jump somewhere. Let's go see if we can find that. Yep, there it is. We still have a little jump there somewhere. So sometimes when it's really difficult to see which one of the frames you want to get rid of, or interpolate again, like this one or this one is good, this one is good, this one is a big jump. So what you do, maybe what you do is you simply say, well, let's take a whole block. Let's take these 4 or 5, since these guys cannot agree. Let's get rid of them, right? There, and have a extrapolate block. So now, of course, the longer that block is, the more there is a risk of a little bit of a distortion. You notice this one here, yeah, it did too much. All right, so that's not perfect. And you know, one thing I should have done actually to be able to work on this without losing everything else I did, store, right? Save often. So every time you have a good one, you verified it and they say, yep, that's good. Make sure you do this, animate, store to disk. I didn't do it, shame on me. Now I have to redo it. So I'm gonna click this and do it all over. Not here while you watch though, that'll be just the next exercise behind the scene. All right, well, thanks for watching, and hope this helps in working on some of the video clips that might be in need of frame repairing, and there's more to come.